That's an interesting question. It all began one sunny afternoon. Someone's walking down the hall and it's like, "Hi, Betty, what's up?"
Claire, I've been thinking.
Ooh, that's the danger. I've been thinking. Betty approached me about team teaching, an interdisciplinary course. And she had a concept in mind, and we sat afternoons for a couple of hours, and we had this brilliant idea, and we put it all together in an outline. And then it dawned on us,
Could we work together?
Who knew? At that point, saw my buddy Dennis Malvers and asked, "Gee, Dennis, you think we could team teach the freshman seminar course?" And he says, "Oh, sure." And so we undertook the challenge for 10 weeks, and we received favorable feedbacks from the students. But first of all, we should tell you, we told the students up front, this is what we're doing.
We told them it was a test flight, and that they would please give us feedback, and we wanted honest feedback. Yeah. Oh, by the way, we had only one student drop out of our course.
And at that time, that was
amazing.
Major retention.
Yes.
For freshman seminar.
And the feedback from them was, "You guys are great, do it."
And continue to team teach.
Yes. So we gave it a try.
And here we are, 15 plus years later, doing Windows on the World.
Right, and we're still friends.
Yeah.
When we started working with the class, we were very much aware that we wanted to have an open and a trusting environment for the students. We wanted a place where they were able to give their ideas, that they were accepted, that they cared about each other. In terms, actually, of community, that was what we wanted to have within the classroom.
Yeah. We developed that, and I think trust is really an important factor. Trust, respect, the open sharing of ideas. There's not a wrong answer, but it's a different perspective, and recognizing that that different perspective also has merit. And I think another really major point here, and we thought about this, was that we didn't always agree on understanding of the theory.
Right.
How would we recognize it? Where are we in the observation of it? Whether it was through the arts, like literature, or the movies, or something that we saw in the Boston Globe, which Betty is famous for bringing in articles from. But recognizing that we don't always agree,
Right.
We have to respect that we're not going to always agree.
And that's one of the neat things is the acceptance. Yeah. And so we feel as though we are modeling for the students how to disagree and still show respect, because we do have different perspectives on things, and it's a natural thing. And that's another thing that we try to do. Yeah. We try to develop a sense of cooperation and equality within the classroom.
Right.
And small groups. We have a lot of small groups. We have projects as part of the small groups. We have large classroom discussions
where everyone, and I think the concept of sitting in the circle, at first, the students like, oh, we got to sit in the circle. But they had, by the time we're into like the second week or third week, they are accepting of that. And it's like, oh, are we sitting in a circle today? And it's almost like we need to be there. We need to be in that circle because we need to see each other. We need to hear from everyone.
Right. I know this person's face, not just the back of their head.
Right.
Which is a major part.
And perhaps in terms of team teaching, the power is always with the educator. And so what Betty and I do systematically is never sit next to each other or on the same side of the room with each other. We're on the opposite side. Somebody always has an eye on the clock, one of us. Usually me.
Yeah.
Usually. It is an interdisciplinary course. We treat it as an interdisciplinary course. We don't say, oh, we're going to talk about theory today. Oh, we're going to talk about the arts today. It's all
in, yes, it's all woven into one.
Yeah.
But one of the things, Claire takes copious notes. Whenever I do any presentations of the theory of social psychology, Claire's down there with her notepad taking notes, and she's looking around and saying, why aren't the rest of you taking notes with me? And so that part, Claire could teach because she's been a student. She's majored in social psychology for 15 years now.
Well, tangentially.
Yeah.
Tangentially.
Yeah.
But I think part of taking copious notes is because my mind is a sieve. But when we present the theory, there are different examples year to year. And so I have to keep it straight. I can't refer to an example that she gave the class 3 years ago and expect the students to make that connection. So the notes help me to keep on track with what's going on this semester. And this is where we're going. These are the examples we're using, and these are the connections we're making. And so in that respect, you cannot separate the theory from the humanities.
Right.
To tear it apart is to really kill the course. There's no way this course would thrive and endure if the content were taught separately.
Right.
Or treated separately.
Right. And the theory, once it's presented, the students give examples from their own lives or from their own observations, and then also it might be from films, it might be from literature, it might be poetry, it could be anything. Then they essentially write their textbook.
Right.
We provide the skeleton of the theory, and then we pull in examples of it. And this is where the disagreements can come in, or different perspectives, really.
Right.
And it's a very exciting and alive and a growing one. And I have to admit that in terms of supporting the humanities and the writing element, one of the things that I have been very careful about is not to let Claire shoulder all the responsibility on the writing issue. It takes twice the time, because usually I'm first reader, and I will read through, I will make my comments on the papers, and I will take a separate paper and put down the names and what grade I would give. When I'm finished doing all of the papers, then I give them to Claire, and she does the same thing. And then we get together and we look at what the grades might be, and we find that most of the time we are really right on target with each other in terms of the grades, because we have the same criteria that we're using. So, that simplifies things. However, there are times if we're half a grade off, then we'll just give the student the benefit of the doubt. Instead of a B, they get a B plus if that were the two grades. On the other hand, if we're far apart, then we will sit down, the two of us, go through the paper, and then come up with why we gave the grade that we did, and talk about it, and then come up with a whatever.
And then we say, gee, what weighs more? Is having this information, or is it about the correctness? And you have to work that out.
Yep.
But we also have a criteria in our syllabus, so it's not like we're just pulling out whatever we want at that moment. It is stated, and we go by that criteria as well. Yep. So it's a shared responsibility.
Oh, absolutely. And it takes twice as long.
Yeah.
But
we get it back the next class hour.
Yes, we do. Sometimes it takes a little extra trip in. On a day I might not be in, I'll come in and deliver it, or sometimes Claire has even dropped it off at my house so that I can do it. But
we work on it.
Yeah.
Email.
But we make it work.
Yeah, we do.